Hi, everyone at home. If you are on YouTube right now watching this, we are live. We're going to begin the presentation in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned. We'll begin with a new slide. We're about 2 or 3 minutes away from the beginning of the presentation right now. Thank you for joining us. Hey, if you're watching at home, we're going to be starting in about 2 minutes. Thank you for joining us. All right, thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is Ross Wolfson. I'm the school counseling department head here at Westboro High School. We are in person at the Westboro High School auditorium this evening on December 15th. We are also broadcasting this on YouTube live right now. This recording will be available after this evening as well on our YouTube channel that was linked in the emails that were sent to everybody leading up to this program. We're really thrilled that you could come here this evening and we can share some things that are going to be really important to be thinking about over the next 4 years. We are going to be focusing on the first 2 years, 9th grade and 10th grade, and we're going to share a little bit about some of the things that are going to be coming up in junior and senior year. We're not going to spend too much time on that tonight, but there are a lot of resources that we're going to be sharing. There's going to be another email that'll be coming out soon after this presentation that will link to the slides, that will link to a lot of different resources, and even within these slides, there are some active links. So once you're looking at these slides after this evening, feel free to explore some of the resources that we're sharing as well as some of those active slides. So as we're saying, we're going to be building that launching pad, getting you ready this year, next year to take some good action steps, think about important things, and be prepared for as you get closer to junior year and senior year. We're going to show how those individual steps connect to things in the big picture. So you understand why you're doing certain things now as opposed to later, or why you don't have to do things until later. And we're going to help you take ownership in this process for yourself. I'm speaking to students right now. Taking ownership is very important. so that you are understanding what steps you have to take, so that you are not just waiting for things to come to you, that you're going out and you're seeking out what needs to be done and getting those things done. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking primarily about 9th and 10th grade things, a little bit about 11th and 12th grade. And most of what we're going to be talking about tonight is actually part of a document that we created a few years ago called the Good Shape List. And the Good Shape List is basically a list of things that if by the time we get to that point in freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, if you've done these things, you're in good shape. That's the idea of the Good Shape List. It's not a full list of every little thing that you may need to do as you're thinking about college or jobs or whatever your plans may be for after high school. This is because we know that everyone's path is going to be unique. There is not one single student that's going to go through this process and have everything be identical to another student. There are a lot of common things that most students will participate in or need to be thinking about or potentially be doing as action steps. And that's what this Good Shape List is focusing on, and that's what the basis of our program tonight is going to be. If you are looking at these slides individually afterwards, like I mentioned, the link on this slide right here is an active link. If you wanted to go to it right now, it's bit.ly/WHS Good Shape List. You could look at this. It's a PDF document on our webpage. It has all 4 years lined out together, so you can see how it all fits together. Now, for a lot of students, a lot of this is going to be very new. Some of the things we talk about, you may have already started to think about. Much of it, you may not have given much thought about at all, and that's absolutely fine. That's why we're having this evening. And wanted to share a little bit of a metaphor about what that might feel like as you're looking at this beginning of high school. We're not even through quarter 2 yet of the first year of high school. There's a lot more to go. And so I wanted to show this video. This is a video that is of a 9-year-old girl doing a ski jump for the very first time. If you're watching from home, it should be able to go, you should be able to hear the video. You'll definitely be able to see it. You should be able to hear it. If for whatever reason you're not able to hear it, we're going to send a link to this video as well afterwards so you can watch it after and get the idea.
I'll be fine.
Have fun.
I'll do it. Well, here goes something, I guess. Well, okay, you can do this. I'm gonna jump.
You got it.
Whoa, my ski's slipping off.
Just remember, never snowplow, okay?
No snow plows.
Just keep it straight and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Same thing you do on the 20.
Straight. Do you go faster on the in run?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Is it any steeper, do you think? Not much?
Same steepness, it's just longer.
Well, just longer. Just longer. Just a bigger 20, that's all.
Yep. Have
It's a
fun.
bigger 20. Go ahead. You got this. I got it.
It's fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. Here
The longer you wait, you'll be more scared.
I go. Just the suspense at the top at the first time freaks you out. That's the only thing. It's so fun. Huh? 60 seems like nothing now. Whoa!
One of the things when we show this video to students is, we'll ask, what do you notice? What are some things that you hear the young girl talking about, asking questions? What is she doing? And things that come up often are she's asking questions, like I said. She trained to be able to do this. She convinced her parents to let her do this. She understood what she needed to do to be able to even get up there in the first place. And that's why I say this video, I really find is a metaphor for empowerment. We want students to be empowered through their journey through high school, through their planning for after high school, and everything that comes after that. This is a theme that is recurring throughout Westboro High School. Whenever we're working with students, we talk about empowerment. We try to break it down into 4 themes within that empowerment. I started talking a little bit before about ownership, being able to be in that moment, to know what it is that you need to do, to take action, to get it done, to really own it, to take ownership of it yourself, and don't let other people do for you or let things come to you. Go out and make sure that you are taking care of what you need to. Organization, being able to understand all the pieces that kind of go together. And that can be a learning process, but everybody has their own different ways of organizing, and that's fine too. There's no one right way to organize things. Organize your thoughts, organize things that you need to do. But being organized is very important. Being able to advocate for yourself, to let it be known what it is that you'd like to do. As you're thinking about going beyond high school, talking with your parents, talking with your counselor and your teachers and other people in your life, so that they can support you along the way. If they don't know what it is that you'd like to do or what you'd like to try, they're not going to be able to help you in the way that's going to be most helpful. And then inquiries, asking questions, making sure that if there's something that you're not sure about, that you're trying to get clarity on it, that you're trying to talk to the people that may have information that can help you. And that's how we try to piece this together for all the students and have these reoccurring themes. All right. So again, throughout this presentation, you're going to kind of pick up on some of these things as we're talking. We are going to talk about in detail a little bit more about, like I said, the 9th and 10th grade year, a little bit about 11th and 12th grade. We're going to take a deeper dive into some of the things that we're talking about this evening, give some more details about that. All right. And so without further ado, I'm going to invite Mr. Turo to come up and share a little bit about the next 2+ years.
So thank you guys for coming tonight. So we're going to start freshman year, and if you're thinking about a theme for freshman year, I'd like you to think about foundation, building that foundation. So by the time you get to senior year, you've done all that you could do to put yourself in the best position possible. So think about this as building your foundation for the rest of high school. If you haven't already, we suggest that you look at whenever your freshman year, look at the program of studies to see what classes are available. It's broken down by grade, so you can see what classes are available freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. So if there's something you know you want to study, look at it and just see what classes are available and what classes you could take. Because most of these classes, they have prerequisites that you need to meet to take them. For example, if you wanted to take Pottery 1 sophomore year, you would have to get a C+ or better in 3D art foundations. So start looking at these and what grades you have to get, to be eligible for these classes, if that's something you want to do. And this is about planning ahead. And teachers, school counselors are available throughout the process to answer any questions you might have. If you're thinking about a class, thinking about a subject in general that you want to study in high school. So moving forward to the spring of freshman year, again, if you haven't done this already, we suggest that you get involved in extracurricular activities. These can be in or outside of school. We encourage you to pick something that relates to your interest, and something that you have a real passion for that you can build out. In that club, there's school clubs, volunteering experiences, part-time employment, really anything that connects to your interest and what you may want to do going forward in high school and beyond. And also at WHS, a lot of students build their own clubs and start their own clubs. So if there's something that you really like to do that isn't available, you can talk to admin and you can get that club started. So very open to starting any club that isn't currently available. So if that's something that you want to do, talk to school counselor about it and we can send you in the right direction. And again, I think, trying out different things, use this as a learning experience, expand your horizons, try stuff that you may not, know you're interested in, and really stick with what's most enjoyable to you. is what we recommend. And then again, by the spring of freshman year, we encourage you to build a list of activities, different awards, accomplishments. We say this because, during your senior year when you're working on your college application, it's helpful to have that list already organized. So you just don't forget anything that you may have done, at that point 4 years ago. So, build that list now so you don't forget later on. And again, if you haven't already done this, we encourage you to do it by the spring of this year. So now we're going to move on to sophomore year. Again, some of you may have already started these different tasks, but again, this isn't as urgent, as freshman year stuff. If you don't start until next year, you're on track. You're not behind. But we like to tell you this just in case you're thinking about this or already have started it. So by the winter of your sophomore year, we encourage you to look at options after high school. These could be, community college options, four-year colleges, gap years, military, really any type of path that interests you. And, you want to consider every path, right? Obviously, either four-year college route, but really take time and look at these other options because, if you don't get the information, you don't know they're out there. So really figure out what's best for you. And consider each path, consider, what lines up with your interest, all that stuff. And, this isn't a commitment, right? You don't have to decide your winner of sophomore year, but start that process. What we talked about with inquiring, start it now. So you just get yourself ready when the time comes. And similar to the other slide, part of that is having conversations with your family about your plans for after high school. Understanding that things happen, right? So, your options may be different come senior year, but at least having that conversation and, really thinking about what works for you, what would help you gain success. And again, these conversations may change, right? But it's important, to have those conversations starting around that time if you already haven't started, planning for the life after high school, because it does move fast. So this is just to get you ready. And, talking about it now, you don't have any surprises later. So again, this is just about having that open and honest dialogue and really thinking about what you want your path to be once you graduate high school. And similarly, if you haven't already, spring of sophomore year, we encourage you to consider your financial ability to pursue the options you are considering after high school, which again, maybe college, maybe another post-secondary path, but some of the questions that you could ask yourself, who is paying for college or other post-secondary paths? How much debt will you be willing to take on? So these are questions as you go through this conversation with your family, with people that you trust, conversations to consider and questions to ask yourself. And so now we're going to go into junior year, and I know Q2 of freshman year, this seems like a long way away. So again, this isn't stuff you have to necessarily worry about right now, but we want to put it on your radar just so when the time comes, you have that, that knowledge. And this is really about planning. So junior year is about planning for senior year, and these are the steps you can take to do that. Fall of junior year, we encourage you to take the PSAT. It is available sophomore year, but most juniors take it their fall of junior year. And again, it's practice. So at the very least, it tells you what you have to do to get ready for the real SAT. The winter of junior year, you want to start your research on specific colleges and careers. And by the spring of junior year, start visiting those college campuses, the ones that you're interested in. And we encourage you to take the SAT and ACT at least once. Many colleges are test optional at this point. So it's not going to hurt your application if you don't submit it, but we encourage you to take it at least once by the spring of junior year. And also, asking for teacher recommendations. We're going to have more information on that later, but start asking teachers, who would give you another view of who you are as a student in the classroom. Then senior year, so this is really, the action year. You planned your junior year, and there's a lot of different steps that you have to take senior year. So in the summer, you can start finalizing your options. You can reach out to colleges and programs and, ask them any questions you might have. Your fall of senior year, you're going to begin submitting applications. You're also going to begin applying for financial aid via the FAFSA. And then in the winter, we encourage you to apply for scholarships. And again, you can look into these earlier, but really the winter is the prime time to apply for these scholarships, whether or not you know where you're going. And then in the spring, to wrap it up, you want to decide where you want to attend, right? And again, it's really important too to consider, what other options are available, right? It doesn't just have to be the 4-year college route. You want to do what's best for you, and you want to have that conversation with family, friends, about what is the best path for you. Because similar to high school, everyone has a different path to success in a career. So you really want to have that honest conversation. And then you just want to consider the financial costs associated with each path. So that's a good shape list. And now I'm going to bring Mr. Roche up to touch further on some of that stuff.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Roche, one of the school counselors here. This is my second year here, and I'm so excited to meet all the freshmen. It's been so fun. So I'm going to do kind of a deep dive into some of the things we were just talking about. So you heard us mention teacher recommendations. The best recommendations come from teachers who can give specific examples about how you've contributed in class and your performance as a student. Some examples that teachers may write about are, working hard, asking questions, you go for extra help, you lead group projects, you're an active student. And you want to start really making some great relationships with your teachers so that in the future you can go ahead and ask them and there will be no hesitation from them. Recommendations aren't just for college. You can also use these if you're planning on going straight into the workforce, if you need recommendations for an apprenticeship, whatever. These are awesome to have even if you're not applying to colleges. And if you want to learn more about how teachers write their recommendations, the link below, it's included. It talks all about it. OWL Purdue is a great resource. And so now let's take a closer look at post-secondary options other than four-year colleges. Obviously, four-year colleges is where a good chunk of our students end up. However, there are so many options out there for students. There are special programs. Massachusetts has a really great program with their community colleges and state universities. There's mass transfer programs. The link is included. Really awesome programs that I highly suggest families to look at. They're a lot more cost effective. You can also learn a trade by becoming an apprentice. Basically, you are learning while working. Not a lot of students know about this. So we like to make sure that it's known. You don't have to go to a four-year school to learn a trade, right? You can just become an apprentice and get paid to learn. Pretty awesome. You can also learn career skills and get help to pay for college by joining the military. More information is in that link. There's also gap year options. You might not be ready to go to college right after high school. And it's totally fine to take a gap year and maybe apply to colleges afterwards. I have plenty of students who did that. And, they reach out, they ask for their recommendations, they ask for their transcripts, and I am more than happy to get that to them. So we talked a little bit about like keeping track of your activities and activity resumes. This is a little example that I put together. We have a template that we use for students. So some of the things included on there: school clubs and activities, athletics, outside of school clubs and activities, and also community service. There's a whole bunch more, which I will show you right now. So we're going to, so this is what happens when you click our link. So it's going to ask you to make a copy because we do not want you using the same one. So we will make a copy right here. And so this is the blank template. So like I said, school clubs and activities, athletics, outside of school clubs and activities, community service, work experience, family responsibilities. That's a big one that students don't really think a lot about. Obviously parents, you can expect some things out of your children sometimes, right? Chores and maybe babysitting younger siblings sometimes. Maybe your job is to take out the trash every day. We want to know these things. There's also other activities that may not fall underneath any of these categories, and also academic awards and honors. So the cool part about our activity resume template is that it really closely aligns to the Common App. So when you go to put activities into the Common App, you can kind of just copy, paste, and you're ready to go. Okay. And we also talked a bit about extracurricular activities. This year, one of our students created this new page called Clubpedia. It's awesome. I was so excited to check out this page. We also have a link to a slideshow that has a bunch of all of our clubs and activities, but I'm going to show you a bit about what Clubpedia is. So this is what it looks like when you pull it up. So it's pretty cool. Molly Northrop is the one who created this website. On this website, it has like almost all of the clubs that we have available here at Westboro High School. You can see right here. So we'll go up and we'll check out Best Buddies. And so this is our Best Buddies page. It has our advisors on here, and also how to register with Best Buddies online. And it has all this cool information about everything, how often they meet, twice monthly, and times of meetings, they vary, tend to do one activity after school, and they usually meet here at the high school. Pretty cool stuff. I know there was an email sent out earlier in the year that the deadline to sign up in Family ID is November. We're not saying that you cannot sign up for clubs and activities. If you want to join something, let us know and we'll help you get involved. And we also talked a bit about our program of studies. So right now, I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. We are moving to a different website, going to have all the same functionality. This is where you can find your graduation requirements, course progressions. You can learn what classes are available your year. So if you want to look what's available sophomore year, you can look at grade 10. And then you can also understand what the class actually is and what the prerequisites are. So this is what our program of studies currently looks like. Like I said, it may look a little bit different for next year's program of studies, but it's going to have the same idea behind it. The part that I like to show students is find courses available by grade. So we'll click grade 9. And it shows you all the classes that are available to grade 9 students. For example, food foundations, natural science and engineering. All you freshmen are taking that, correct? Also, there's computer science, business concepts. So this is kind of your one-stop shop for all things course selection. And another thing I like to point out is in this introduction, this is where you can find your graduation requirements, all right here. You know, I like to point out to students what exactly they need to graduate. And then you can go to course descriptions and find any class here. So we can check out computer science, go to all computer science courses. And it has every single computer science class that we offer. And let's say you want to take Exploring Computer Science 1, you would click that. It tells you all about the class, and it tells you what the class is a prerequisite for. And it also tells you what prerequisites are there. There are none for Exploring Computer Science 1, but if you scroll down, Exploring Computer Science 2, you have to have successfully taken Computer Science 1. So that's the program of studies. And these are some other great resources. So we actually have a post-secondary plan book, Planning Handbook, and it's on our school counseling website. It's all available online. It's a lengthy document, but has everything you may need to know about post-secondary planning. There's also the Georgia Tech admissions blog. They have really great articles about the world of college admissions. I learn new things every time they send a blog post. It's really awesome. There's also the guide to college admissions process, pretty self-explanatory, talks all about what it takes to apply to college and the admissions process. My next move is career exploration, searching and resources, Mass CIS reality check. You can do some budgeting, log in as a Mass resident, select assessments, and do a reality check. You know, a lot of students don't realize what it takes to make a budget. So pretty cool resource. There's also the MIFA scholarship blog, which has an extensive listing of available scholarships. If you ever have any questions about financial aid, MIFA is probably your #1 resource. They are amazing. And there's also Road Trip Nation, which has a lot of video interviews of various different careers. So it's a really cool, fun website to check out. And we'll bring it back to Mr. Wilson.
Thank you. So before I talk a little bit about the upcoming contacts with counselors, I just want to reiterate that we spent a little bit more time talking in detail about things in 9th grade and things in 10th grade. And again, the items that we mentioned in 11th grade and 12th grade, reminding you that you're in good shape if you do them by then. A lot of times we get questions about when should I start filling out a college application, or when should I ask a teacher for a letter of recommendation? And the answer to those questions is not for a while. Maybe not until junior year. The soonest you could even possibly apply to a college is going to be in August before senior year. The soonest you can apply for financial aid for college is going to be October of senior year. So a lot of these things that you may have heard of, that you may be thinking about, it's good to have on your radar, but you may not have any action steps yet. And that's a big reason why we put this all out, so you can see some of the steps that are coming up now, things to be aware of, like looking into this program of studies. Definitely encourage those students of you that are listening to this and watching this, when you go home from this, when you stop listening to the video when we're done, take a look at that program of studies. It's linked on the Westboro High School webpage, as well as the school counseling department webpage. And you can explore and see what's going to be coming up for sophomore year, what's going to be coming up for junior year, so that you can see if there's a class that I know I can't take until junior year, what do I need to take in sophomore year in order to be eligible for it? That's how you can use the program of studies. So those are the examples that we want to make sure that you're aware of. All of this is, again, very common for most students as they're going through this process. And I'll say again, as I mentioned at the beginning, every single student is going to be following a slightly different path. Some may be very different from one another, and we encourage that. And your school counselors are going to be able to work with you for whatever your plan is. We are interested in making sure that you are seeking out something that's going to be a good fit, that you're going to be satisfied with, it's going to help you reach your goals. And similar to what Mr. Turo said about combining some of those post-secondary planning options, if you're thinking about what your end goal is right now, you may not know a specific job. When I was in high school, I knew I wanted a job where I was going to be inside and it was going to be air conditioning. That was important to me when I was in high school. But there are steps that you need to take in order to be able to have a job where you may be working indoors. There are things that you need to be planning for and certain types of jobs that aren't going to be indoors. That's a very, very simple example of how you begin thinking about things. But we wanted to put this all out there for you so that you could see how it all connects over the next 4 years. Now, for the 9th graders that are listening, soon in January, we are going to be doing some small group seminars where we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into some of these topics, talking about budgeting time, talking about how you are going to be able to plan and taking more specific steps as you go into sophomore year. We're going to be doing course selection presentations probably sometime in February once the new program of studies is updated. There may be some new courses that are available, and we'll let you know about some of those as they come out. And then counselors meet with all of the 9th grade students individually so we can talk about not only course selection, but also what your plans are, and help you reach goals, help you make goals as you're planning for sophomore year, junior year, senior year. It's very important that we're able to, start building that relationship to help you think about different ways that you can approach your path so that you can reach your goals. And that's really what a lot of this is all about. So I do want to digitally introduce our counseling department. There are 6 counselors. 3 of us are here this evening. We also have Ms. Kenefek, who is our administrative assistant, who many students may have met as they're coming in for a counseling appointment. She's very, very helpful in working with you to make sure that if there's something that you need, you're able to get it, whether it's something for an application, whether it's learning some information, or even just connecting you with a counselor. So come on down. There are lots of ways that you can connect with your counselor, including we have ways of signing up for meetings that are all electronic. Chances are you've gotten an email at least once this year from your counselor with a way to sign up for an appointment with them. But if you don't know how to do that, again, you can stop by the counseling office. We're right next door to the main office, for those of you that haven't been down to the counseling office yet. And we also wanted to leave this last slide up with all of our names and email addresses. This is probably the quickest way to reach out to your counselor. If you're not certain who your counselor is, you can write to really any one of us. You can write to me as department head, and I can forward your email to whoever your counselor is if you're not sure who it is. But we encourage you to reach out. We encourage families, parents, and caregivers to reach out if you have questions. Since many of you are watching at home this evening, if you do have questions that have come up from this presentation, we really do encourage you to reach out to us. We'll be able to answer your questions and help you and your child and certainly students as well. If you have questions, stop by our office, send us an email, whatever works best for you. We're always going to be happy to help this year all the way through the next 4 years. So thank you very much. That is our presentation this evening. And we hope that all of you have been able to get some good takeaways from this. As I mentioned, we are going to be sending a follow-up email soon with link to these slides, as well as links to all of the resources that we shared tonight. There's a lot of information there, and we definitely encourage you over time, when you are ready, to take a look through some of these resources. You're going to find hopefully a lot of them are going to be very valuable to you as you're going through this process. So thank you again very much, and have a great evening.